So hello everyone, welcome to the YouTube channel. Hope you are doing great. We are covering the subject that is a software engineering. In the last video, we have started the new chapter that is exactly the requirement engineering. So as discussed earlier, so this is a really crucial and the very important uh, techniques, you can say, that in the process of the software development life cycle. We have already seen the phases of the software development life cycle, or we have seen the generic process framework. The phase number one was the requirement engineering, you can say, requirement analysis, you can say, the communication. So all these phases are, you can say, combined into the requirement engineering, right? So so now the requirement engineering, so you will be asking in the exam. So like the what is the importance of the requirement engineering in the software development life cycle? Why the requirement engineering process is must for the software engineering or the software development life cycle? So as I told you, this is a very much crucial stage for any software project, because your whole software development, whether you are talking about modeling, whether you are talking about implementation, coding, maintenance, all the phases fundamentally defined on this requirement engineering. You can say these are the pillars of the software, any of the software project. So if you have applied proper analysis on the requirements, if you have collected proper requirements and you have provided proper techniques on that requirements, your next phases of work would be much more easier and the faster as well. So what exactly the requirement engineering is, we have covered up into the last lecture. There are some techniques available to identify the proper requirements from the client. Because as we told that, let's say some clients coming to you, some customers coming to you, they know very much. They will tell you, let's say, I want to develop this. So from that, you have to communicate with the client and have to understand the detailed requirements so that you can implement the desired software a client want. Yes, are you getting my point? Yes or no? So this is where the requirement engineering plays a very much important and a crucial role. So this is the basic we have covered into the previous video lecture. In today's video lecture, we are covering about the requirement engineering processes. Okay, so the requirement engineering processes are processes used for the requirement engineering vary widely depending on the application domain, the people involved, and the organization developing the requirements. Okay, so the requirements differ by project, the people involved in the project domain. Let's say if you are developing a artificial intelligence software, requirement may differ. If you are developing a web application, requirement may differ. If you are developing a testing software, requirement may differ, because the users of the system will differ, application domain will be differing on that. So it is a very crucial to identify the proper requirement depending on to the project. Okay, so like now you will be having how to identify the proper requirement, or how to do the proper requirement analysis. So this is termed as the exactly the requirement engineering is all about. Okay, so there are some techniques available, let's say. So there are the number of generic activities common to all processes, like the requirement elicitation, requirement analysis, requirement validation, and the requirement management. So in the practice, the requirement engineering is an iterative activity in which these processes are interleaved. So this is the basic architecture, you can say. It will start from the center, which will start from the business requirement specification. Any business or any client come to you with a project, you will ask for the business requirement specification. Then you will do the feasibility study, like how this project will be feasible or not. Then the user requirement specification, as so this phase will go into the user requirement specification. Then it will be applied to the prototyping for the getting the proper requirement. Then it will apply to the system requirement specification. Okay, then it will be a review and the system requirement document. So this is exactly the whole spiral model, this is exactly this whole process. So let us try to understand again from the center of the spiral, you can start with the business requirement specification. Okay, so this is exactly where the actually the process will start. Any client comes to you, any customer comes to you, let's say I want to build this particular type of project, right? If I want to build a particular type of project, then you will ask for the proper requirement, you will capture the requirement. This requirement called as the business requirements. This requirements called as the business requirements specification, business requirement specification. Okay, then once you have the requirements, you will be doing the feasibility study. So sometimes what happens exactly, some requirements will be given to you, but in the real scenario that cannot be possible to be implemented. So you have to check the feasibility study, like it is a feasible or not. So the initial I would be for catching the requirement and doing the feasibility study, right? Now the next step would be to identify the user requirements. So as earlier in this chapter we have divided the requirements into the two requirements. First it will be the user requirement, the second will be the system requirement. Now understand, for any applications users might change. Okay, so you have to capture requirements according to the different users. Okay, so let's say if I give you the example, we have taken the example of the ERP system of our college. So the users of the ERP system would be, first of all, would be the students, faculties, admins, HODs, and the principals. All will be are the users for this particular ERP system. So we have to capture the requirement. So we have to capture the requirement on the basis of the all these users. So first of all, you have to identify different users of the system. So you have to identify different users of the system. According to that you have to identify the requirements according to on the different users. So this is the second spiral will comes for the user requirements. Okay, once you capture the user requirement, you will apply the prototyping. So as you aware, the previous model we have, that is exactly the prototyping model. The previous model we have the prototyping model. Prototyping model is to show the demo to the client. Okay, we have this requirement, we are showing. So this would be a type of a dummy software or a demo software. So by seeing the software, client will have the detailed analysis of the software. So the requirements will be more clear. If they will have the more requirements, they will be given to uh, uh, they they will be like a more clear, there will be like a more clear with the requirement exactly. Okay, so this is the kind of thing. The So after the feasibility study, there is the phase that comes into the user requirement. Elicitation means you can fetch the requirement, you can identify the user requirements from the all the business requirements. Okay, then you will apply the prototyping model. So from that you will able to identify the more requirements, or you can say the system requirements. Then the and once you have the system requirements, you will apply the system requirement specification and the modeling in the term of, we can say, the paperwork and the diagrams and all that. Once you have all the user requirements as well as the system requirements, you will apply the requirements validations. So validation in the terms, you can check the whether the requirement is proper or not. Once you have captured all the requirement, it is the task now you have to capture that whether the requirement is working, like it is a correct requirement, it is a feasible requirement or not. So this is the kind of requirement validation which goes with the reviews. It will be given to the couple of higher management, let's say for the CEO or the CTO, or you can say the project manager. They will identify the requirement again for the review. Once the requirements are approved, there is a one document generated, that is a software system requirement specification, or you can say the software requirement specification. So this is the kind of process, this is the kind of requirement engineering process that is involved to get the requirement out of your project. So these are the main phases: requirement elicitation, requirement analysis, requirement validation, and the requirements management. So here you can see the requirement elicitation. requirement specification, requirements validation, and once all this done, then it will comes to the requirements document means requirements management. So this is a really important and the crucial phase. So let us go one by one. There is a requirement elicitation. So uh, requirement elicitation means nothing but the requirement discovery, identifying the requirements. It involves the technical staff working with the customers to find about the application domain, the service that the system could provide, and the system's operational constraints. Okay, so we have already seen that. Then we have the requirement elicitation. What is it saying? Software engineers work with the range of the system stakeholders to find out about the application domain, the service the system should provide, and the required system performance. Okay, the stages include the system requirement discovery, requirement classification and the organization, requirements prioritization and the negotiation, requirement specification. Okay, so the requirement elicitation is nothing but the requirement discovery. So like identifying the proper requirement. So this will include the requirement discovery, or requirement classification like functional and the non-functional requirement, user requirement, the system requirement. Okay, requirement prioritization means which requirement should be are the very much important and which is the optional. So we have the requirement prioritization, then the requirement specification. Okay, then the problems of the requirement. So this is the kind of a technique to discovering the requirement. So now the problems of the requirement elicitation, that is a stakeholders don't know what I really want. So this is the kind of the thing. Let's say you want to build something like a library management system, but you are new to the library. You don't know exactly. Yes, you want the software, but you don't know the exact feature. So this is the kind of problem you have. Then the stakeholder means everyone connected with the system, everyone connected with the system, like users of the system and all that, right? Then we have then we have the different stakeholders may have the conflicting requirements. Yes, it might be possible. uh, let's take the example of the student as well as the faculty. For the ERP system, students may have the different requirement, the faculty may have the different requirement. Yes, student can see the result because students have the result, but the faculty don't have the result, right? Then the organizational and the political factors may influence the system requirements. Yes, there are some organizational features that will influence. The requirements change during the analysis process. The new stakeholders may emerge, and the business requirement environment may change. So yes, you when you are doing the requirement analysis, it might be possible when you evolve the requirement, when you move forward, it might be possible a new user you have to apply. Let's say in the ERP case, librarian. So it will be a new requirement. So you have to change the requirement accordingly. So the change is always be there. Okay. Now the requirements elicitation in the analysis process. So the first part would be the requirements discovery, then the requirements classification in the organization, then the requirements prioritization in the negotiation, and the last one is the requirement specification. Okay. So these are the processes we have covered up. That is the requirements discovery, identifying the requirements. Then we have the this is the kind of activity like we have covered up into the, let's say, requirement elicitation. Okay, so the requirement discovery, interacting with the stakeholders to discover the requirement classification, organizing requirement into the category, let's say the user requirements and the system requirements, functional and non-functional requirement, prioritizing the requirements and the requirement specification. Okay, the requirement discovery, like gathering the information with the connecting with the stakeholders, we can say. This will include the interviewing with the clients. Types of interviewing include the closed interview based on the predetermined list of the questions, open interviews where the various issues are explored with the stakeholders. So this is the kind of discussion. So this is the kind of techniques where you can interact deeply with to the client. So you will have the more detailed requirement discovery. Then how you can conduct the effective interviewing, like yes, you have to be open minded, you have to get your questions right. so that you can have the proper requirement discovery. Yes, so these are the different practice we have. So some problems with the interviews, like the application specialist maybe language to the describe. So sometimes what happens, like said, you, let's say you are dealing with a client from the Russia and he doesn't know the English. So so there might be some issues while the requirements. So it might be possible that he's trying to speak in English, but what happens, like he wants to say something, but you don't understand that. So this is the kind of thing will happen into the requirement discovery on interviewing. So there is a one important terminology, that is ethnography, which will this is the kind of thing like a social scientist spends a considerable time observing and analyzing how the people actually work. People do not have to explain or articulate their work. Social and the organizational factors of the importance may be observed. So this is the kind of thing described as ethnography. So this is also the technique of requirement discovery. Now the next phase come into, that is a requirement specification. So requirement specification is the process of writing down the user and the system requirements in the requirement document. Let's say once you have the requirement elicitation, then you have the requirement discovery. Now the requirement validation. Now the times comes for the requirement specification, or you can say the requirement management. So requirement management, it's like the process of writing do's and don'ts for the particular requirement. Let's say the user requirement, system requirement, functional requirement, and the non-functional requirement into the particular document. The user requirements have to be understandable by the end users and the customers who do not have a technical background. So it, as I told you, it might be possible some customer comes to you, he or she is not technical, but the user requirement should be understandable by him or her. The system requirements are more detailed requirements and may include the more technical information. So some customers is coming to you. So system requirement is like that, the performance, like we are using a Python language, we are using the MongoDB into the database for the faster performance for the big data. So this is the kind of technical requirements. It might be possible the customer cannot understand that. Okay. Now the requirements may be the part of contract or the system development. Okay. Yes, so this is a kind of very much important thing. So this can be also be the one contract. Let's say once you have captured the requirement, once you have stored the requirement, now this will be the contract between you and your client. Like you will be signing the contract and your client will be signing the contract, like that. Like you will be like both of you will be agree on this, and you will be completing this software with this requirement into a particular time period. So this will be the kind of contract as well. So ways of writing the system requirement specification, SRS, system requirement software requirement specification, or the system requirement specification, we can say that. Okay, so which will have the natural language, which will have the structured natural language, design description language, graphical notation, and the mathematical specification. So in the natural language, you can directly write the sentence wise, like in the general language you can write the requirement. In the structural natural language, the requirements are written in the natural language on the standard form or a template. There are some standard formats there. Design description language, graphical notation with the graphical notation, diagrams and all that. Mathematical, some project includes a mathematical notation, so it will have, we have to specify the mathematical specification as well. Okay, then the requirements and the design, in principle requirement should state what system should do, and the design should describe how it does exactly. Okay, now there are some, so we are talking about the writing a requirement. We have captured the requirement with the requirement elicitation and the requirement discovery. Now that is comes into the required specification or writing the requirement document. So there are some guidelines for writing a requirements. So the first one would be the invent a standard format. So you should have the standard format to writing a requirement. Use a language in a consistent way. So use the proper language, use the proper grammatical structure, and use the consistency over there. Use a text highlighting to identify the key parts. Yes, put the highlighting over there, which are the key and important part of the requirement. Avoid the use of the computer jargon. So don't make the spelling mistakes and all that. include the explanation. So it is always advisable that put the every explanation into the requirement, so the user or the stakeholders of the system can able to understand the requirement properly and in the detail. So the problems with the natural language, so it is the lack of the clarity, requirement confusion, the requirement amalgamation. So sometimes what happens that precision is difficult without making the document difficult to read. Confusion, functional and the non-functional requirements tend to be mixed. Sometimes it might be possible the requirement gets mixed up, and several different requirements may be expressed together. That is nothing but the requirement, you can say the amalgamation type of thing. Okay.